Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today's song is titled A Wider Shade of Pale, which has to be one of the most intriguing titles I've ever heard. So, of course, I read the lyrics, and they are equal parts mysterious and sentimental. I am so eager to hear what this musically sounds like, so let's get to it. I already love this setting. That sounds so familiar. Ooh. I am not sure if this was just an intro written for this song or if it actually was a classical piece. It sounds like a piece I know, but not quite there at the same time. I read that this had some inspiration from Bach. I think it probably is reminding me of a Bach piece that I've heard performed 10 billion times. This sounds so familiar, but then every now and then it just moves in a way that I'm like, wait a second, is that how the song went? Is it a different thing? It almost feels like a cover, actually, of a Bach song or like a reimagination of it. But whether or not this is part of the actual song, I'm still not sure. This obviously is this incredible setting. It's with the Danish National Orchestra as well. Beautiful outdoor setting. I love outdoor classical concerts especially. But I'm going to go back to the beginning and talk about some of the things that make it so gorgeous. This kind of classical performance really moves me. I love this kind of music so much. And I have to say, like, it makes my heart so incredibly sad that it isn't more widely attended and appreciated by people today. So let's go back to the beginning. It was beautifully recorded. So one of the things that's so great about classical orchestration, I think, is the fact that you have so many players involved in creating this sound. And especially when you get a whole string section together, there's a vibration that to me feels like the palpitation of a heart or the eager, nervous, or overwhelmed energy, emotion. It's just, while I think it's amazing to have contemporary bands, and I love contemporary music as well, there is something about having sometimes 50 people, sometimes 100 people, all coming together to express this grander emotion of being that is absolutely stunning. And that's also one of the reasons why I love symphonic metal so much, by the way. So when I see all of these string instruments, I'm thinking about how each person's heart is wrapped in creating this larger emotion together. Especially that, like, the shimmer of vibrato. I think vibrato is so expressive. And then right there, it's really the way that we have essentially like two melodies moving within each other. It's like a very contrapuntal technique. Um, you have this upper melody that's descending, and then this lower one that's moving a little faster. This kind of like it's like surging a little bit, but ultimately the higher harmony has determined that the phrase is over. I think it's a beautiful way to describe how complex emotions are. Here we go. Yeah, I love the intertwining of melodies. Okay, and here is where I want to pause and say I love orchestration. It is such a brilliant study and skill to master. You have tons of fantastic film composers that I feel today have really dipped into orchestration in all kinds of new ways. But a lot of times we're still basing that off of 400 years of classical music often. In this case, right, I think the orchestration is so well done. And the strings can be cut through by a single oboe. That's one of the things you learn in orchestration is how certain instruments have greater power to either cut or overwhelm, how the strings can provide this bed of emotion or like little surges, insistence. And so I think it's so awesome to hear how different instruments are grouped or used to express a particularly poignant or omnipresent emotion. I think the oboe is doubled with a flute there, actually. Doubling is so important in orchestration as well. I love the fact that you're putting essentially two wind instruments together. It gets even closer to the human voice. And then the surges. So last thing, I'll go back there just to listen to that swell. Classical music, often when you're mastering it or even just attending it, it is given so much more dynamic room than a lot of contemporary music. Now, I say a lot of because actually I think sometimes the best contemporary performances are things that are unplugged or things that are allowed to simply be quieter at times. On the radio, everything is essentially smushed. It's compressed to look like, we say it looks like a sausage because it ends up being almost all the same volume, the same decibels. Classical music can get so much quieter and thus it has so much greater range of dynamics. I think that that's really important. It makes me feel like there's some sort of art that's lost sometimes in contemporary music production. Although I do understand that the loudness wars that happened are often, there was this perception that a song would simply be better because it's louder. And that is this sort of innate human perception that a lot of people just have and don't even realize they have. I personally think that something that's dynamic is better, but that's after years and years and years of musical training. Also, a lot of people are listening in their cars or in other situations where they don't have really great audio fidelity. So it does make sense that it would all be a little bit louder and a little more present the whole time to accommodate those listening situations. That said, if you have great headphones, a great speaker system, or if you're just in a concert setting where the attention really is solely on the music, I personally prefer the allowance of a band, even like metal bands too. I want them permitted to be quieter when they want to be quieter so that their music can have more ups and downs. This is beautiful, the swelling. I also love the fluidity of the tempo, like the slight hesitation and then surge forward.
skip the life and let go.
That worked really well as a transition. It was shocking, but it still flowed.
I was feeling kind of seasick. But the crowd called out for more. The room was humming harder as the ceiling flew away. When we called out for another drink, the waiter brought a tray. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly turned to water.
This is glorious, you guys. Like, I feel like even teary-eyed. It's just so beautiful. I love the combination. So what I'm hearing, and I do really think that beginning part was actually part of the song proper now, because I hear this same bass line, and it really feels almost like a Baroque or classical technique in how there's a certain walk down. It almost feels like Pachelbel canon at sometimes. But it reminds me of a song that my mother played on the piano often for people's weddings as well. So anyhow, I'm gonna come back quite a bit. I love the way we're essentially having this, feels like a fairly simple, clear storytelling vocal delivery, but there's some really great things about it that I think are understated. And that's combined with, honestly, a really sophisticated harmonic progression that sounds not too foreign at the same time. It doesn't sound really progressive. It actually sounds kind of comforting to me. Let's go back to his entry.
We skip the life and let go. Turn cartwheels across the floor. I was feeling kind.
So just notice the left hand there, and I think it's actually very subtly doubled by a bass or a cello.
Turn cartwheels across the floor.
It's essentially moving down. It's doing octaves that are separated and moving down stepwise.
But the crowd called out for more. The room was humming harder as the ceiling flew away. When we called out for another drink, the waiter brought a tray. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale,
I like have this visceral reaction every time he gets to that soaring part, where it's like, not only am I having what feels like this burst of shivers, but I almost feel like I like have to, I don't know, like get something out. I just have a surge of like a clinch and excitement release. Maybe call that a musical orgasm. I don't know. It's gorgeous. I remember people talking about floorgasms a lot when I first heard Floor Jansen singing with Nightwish. I would say that moment is the equivalent. The huge surge of the full orchestra underneath his gorgeous high note as well was amazing. His voice, his timbre actually is more like that oboe in that it has this cut. A lot of that is coming from this forward resonance and this focus that's right in here. Some people will call that twang. And he's able to essentially have something that feels like it has like a slight country aspect without feeling like it's honky tonk at the same time. And then his natural voice is deeper. And so we actually have like a little bit of darker coloring that has this essentially like a really bright polish on top. And that darker coloring also has like a tiny bit of weathered aspect. So this really feels like somebody who has a whole life story they're inserting, which makes sense because I think the song was written in 1967 and this is 2006. I mean, wow, that's a long time to come and perform. It makes me wonder, what was that like when it was first written? How has that story changed?
The room was
You see a lot of things like this right here. He's really bringing the resonance forward.
as a ceiling flew away.
I love the ooh vowel. It's very focused, very focused. Ooh instead of ooh.
When we called out for another drink.
This is a great example, essentially, of a contemporary vocal technique paired with classical orchestration.
The waiter brought a tray. And so it was. The lady
It's just a burst and a melt at the same time.
his tail.
I'm sorry, you have to hear it again. That is so glorious.
And so
Hey,
it was. The later.
where's this?
As the miller told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly turned to water, shade of pale.
Ooh. Bringing in a contemporary drum kit now. And an organ. Okay. I'm actually really curious. Oh, okay. So I have to mention some names here. Our singer is Gary Brooker. Fantastic. I believe that Matthew Fisher is on the organ. And was it him that did the orchestration as well? I'm really curious. I don't remember if it's him that did the orchestration as well. Keith Reed wrote the lyrics, though, that Gary Brooker probably set then. Anyhow, we have also... Who else is here? Drums. That's Bobby Harrison right there. Okay. I'm going to come back just a little bit here.
That her face at first just ghostly turned to water, shade of pale.
No, this is the... Yep, it's like it's playing off of a tune I know and then changing it up.
She said there is no reason, and the truth is plain to see. But I want to through.
I have an opinion here. It might be a little controversial, you guys. Um, I think I just have a personal preference against organ a lot of times. Specifically, like this kind of Hammond organ sound. The church organs, I love that, but it also doesn't often fit in, I think, with some classical orchestrations. I kind of wish that this organ line had been continued by the orchestra, but that's a total personal preference. And I think that once you add the drum kit to it, that the organ does work a lot better. If we just had the orchestra and the organ together and the piano, like I feel like I'd want something else to kind of drive it forward a little bit. But ultimately, the fact that it's essentially echoing and developing on a famous classical tune is like, I'm at once getting a kick out of it and frustrated because I don't remember what the name of that tune is. Okay, you guys, I swear I sang a cover song of this with a choir. I think it was the Swingle Singers. It was like a cover of a Bach piece. It was like doo dooby 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 dooby. It was all on doobie doo. Okay, it was like a swung jazzy version of this classical piece, and I still can't remember what the tune's actually called. Anyhow. Maybe somebody will help me out in chat. I'm sure you all are helping me out in live chat at this point. Forgive my forgetfulness. And this is where it changes that. I'm like, no. That's not how the song went. Oh, it's a different, new version, new development.
She said there is no reason.
Oh gosh, I love the way he sings that line. Right there, she said there is no reason. It has this so much emotion, and it feels like it's sung like just as it is without judgment, like allowing her to say what she needed to say, also allowing the singer to have an emotional response to that. It feels like respectful, and even more heartbreaking at the same time. I think it's the rasp that gets me.
She said there is no reason, and the truth is plain to see.
His forward resonance consistency is wonderful.
But I wanted through with my playing cards. Would not let it be. When it's 16 vestal virgins
Hi, choir.
who were leaving for the coast. And I'll know my eyes were open. They might just as well been closed. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale.
That is just such an incredible build to, like, I feel like I'm truly surfing on this incredible wave of sound. Very, very similar build to before, except for now we have an additional set of instruments. I love that we have choir intermingled now. It's just like the best of all worlds right now. The choir is going to have a very tall kind of resonance. Tall meaning that often the sound is aimed to like go through the crown of their head. And like you can even see, actually, let's go back and really compare this with,
Who will leave it?
there we go. Okay, a lot of the mouths here, the lips are not pulled back to show their teeth, right? Whereas a lot of contemporary singers, we have a lot more teeth, a lot more brightness that is brought into the sound as a result. I mean, especially this guy here, he's got like what I would describe as an opera mouth there. Oh, and we're looking for something very tall, elongated here. Even these ladies, even though their mouths are like, they're probably singing not a terribly high note in their range. Look at all of these guys with the deeper mouths. But their lips are not retracted at all. It's still somewhat rounded. And that is going to create this deep kind of ethereal, hootier bed of sound. And then you have Gary's sound that is, again, more forward resonance instead of this lofty kind of resonance, more twang rather than loft. And he has so much forward brightness that it cuts right through the choir sound, even though there are so many more people here singing than him. Yeah, we probably have some help from somebody mixing this well, but just be aware that the vocal technique is also a big part of what is becoming most present in this combination of so many voices and instruments.
Who will leaving for the coast?
Look at his teeth.
They might just as well been gold.
I love that glissando. This reminds me so much of Nessun Dorma, which I think is one of the greatest songs of all time. If you were to say, like, Elizabeth, what is one of the greatest songs written for a singer? I would look at Nessun Dorma, really operatic piece. If you don't know, I particularly love Pavarotti's performance. It is my favorite. Some people will say other tenors, I like Pavarotti for that. And it gives me shivers every time. He does Vincero, and you're like, oh my God, so good. And this swell and the swell of emotion behind it reminds me of that. That's how good it is. I want to go back a little bit. So much counter melody in there. The tempo setup for that is so crucial too.
And the miller told his tale that her face at first just ghostly.
Oh, check out that mouth shape.
Trade on fail.
Oh. I just think of all of the hearts that are committed to the emotion of this song. It's so important in this kind of situation to have a conductor as well. And that's because of the fluidity of the tempo, the way it's slowed down and then pushed ahead after that big climactic moment. You have to have a conductor really assisting with that. Yeah, really good job on them. All those people making that tempo retardando and then coming back to the odd tempo together. That's tough to coordinate. Good job, conductor. Good job, everyone.
That her face at first just ghostly. Turn to wire. Trade on fail.
He has such a classical hand position too. course, I want to go back and catch that swell one more time, but I want to also go back just a little bit to catch some of the hand positions. One of the things I mentioned, that classical hand position. A lot of times when people first start playing piano, they play like this. And you're like, no, 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 no. You actually can't move your fingers very much if your knuckles are down. So we always encourage knuckles to go up. So much of the time I've used like little juggling balls or like a bowling ball or even an orange to cup your fingers over, and then you move them along. Sometimes we'd even do spider push-ups. And this comes from my mother. Brilliant idea. Spider push-ups to get people to raise their knuckles to play piano and have a little more maneuverability with their fingers. So check out his hand. So classical. Glissando. Check out what he's doing with the movement as well. So in this situation, the conductor actually needs to follow the singer. The singer is the person that is essentially carrying the crest. Everything is supporting the singer and how he wants to land. And because of that, the conductor in this situation should be watching the singer and actually taking his cue or trying to anticipate off of the singer to bring everybody in at the same time, letting the singer lead just a little bit. It's extremely important that in a situation where you have a lead singer and a supporting band, essentially, that the lead singer and the conductor are like in sync. So anytime I would do solo with a big orchestra, there's so much rehearsal that's with the conductor. And especially if it's not like an opera where you have an ensemble and lots of different soloists, if it's just a lead singer with orchestra, if that singer can get together with the conductor and go through it a lot ahead of time, the conductor is able to follow the singer more rather than the singer necessarily needing to follow the conductor. And I think that makes a much more organic feel to the music. His head movement indicates everything. It's so good.
Just go sleep. Turn the wide shade on me.
Brass. There you go. So I think we're kind of probably wrapping up a little bit here. I want to point out, though, I think this is the first time I really heard the brass. It might have been peppered in a little bit earlier, but brass as an orchestration tool is very important to be incredibly sparse with. One of the things that I actually love about John Williams' compositions is how he often will assign a certain motif or like a character's theme to a particular instrument. And he particularly loves using the French horn in like a very heroic, benevolent kind of way. And I really like the way he uses brass in his film compositions. In this case, like we have just a little bit of trumpet that's come in there. There might be a little more brass too, but you have to be very, very careful because it can easily overwhelm all singers. One of the reasons that some people will say opera singers shouldn't go into certain repertoire too early has to do mostly with the fact that there's more brass in the orchestra and a young singer might feel more pressure to push and get that volume up and over the brass, struggle to be heard. There are different opinions about that too, by the way. But if you think about later composers, like especially Wagner has a lot more brass in that orchestration and it makes it much, much bigger. But again, very, very easy to overwhelm. So this is peppered in at the end. It feels like there's a triumphant sort of ending that we're wrapping towards. And I like the way it isn't allowed to dominate all of the sound.
Turn the wide shade on me.
Yeah, it almost is subtle at first in its entrance. Except for it has, again, like a contrapuntal melody. Hey, French horn. Wow. That's glorious.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
I liked his pen too. Yeah, glorious. You guys, I usually record around 4 videos in a recording today. And this is the one I started with today. And I have to say, I'm now like, I don't know if I should record anymore. How do you get better than that? It's so good. I'm like a little scared to play anything else because I feel like it's going to be missing something. Oh man, I think my music listening today might be ruined. It was that amazing. You guys, if you want to hear some more analysis that involves orchestra paired with contemporary music, check out this playlist over here. And may you fall more in love with music every day.